up on our social media. So just wanted to ask for permission first. I'm gonna go ahead and let others in the room introduce themselves. Y'all can give your name, your pronouns, and how you're connected to DPSCD. I'm like, wait, I'm like, did I say that right? And then your connection with 482 Forward. Whoever wants to start us off can go first.
Sure, I can start. My name is Imani. I went to Renaissance High School. That's my connection with DPSCD. That's where I graduated from. Just graduated from Northwestern University in journalism and African American studies. And my connection with 482 Forward, I used to be a member of the Youth Collective, and I'm currently 482 Forward's new communications lead. So yeah, that's me, and I'll pass it to Brianna.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Brianna. My pronouns are she, her, hers. Right now, I'm a junior in college at Grand Valley. I went to Detroit Collegiate High School, so that's my connection to DPSCD. And here at 482, I'm part of the Youth Collective. Right now, I'm on the e-board. So, and then Hafiza, you can go.
Good to meet you, Brianna.
You too.
Hi, my name is Hafiza. I'm a senior at Cass Technical High School. Just finished my first week as a senior. So exciting.
Yes,
I am a part of, thank you. I'm a part of the youth collective at 482 Forward. I just joined recently. But I'm also in other community organizations doing other organizing efforts. And I'll pass it to Alondra.
Hi, so
Good to meet you.
Oh, sorry. My name is Alondra. I graduated from Western International High School back in 2018. And then I recently graduated from Michigan State University. I use she, her, hers pronouns, and I'll be starting soon as 482 social media manager.
Congratulations. I hear a lot of DPSCD in there. That's really cool. Congratulations. Alondra, I was probably at your graduation. I'm sure I was for 2018. And Cass Tech, I was just over there and I'll come often. So congratulations to you. I think we may have met before, but I'm not sure. We'll see.
Did. I believe we had a meeting.
We did. We talked about uniforms and stuff like that.
Yes, we did meet before.
Yes. See, I got this great memory, and I'm just happy to meet all of you. I love working with young people. It helps to keep me young. So go for it, and let's see what we can connect with. Thank you. That's very kind of you.
Now that we kind of introduce ourselves, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, give us your name, your pronouns, and what's your connection to DPSCD, and why did you decide to run for school board?
I am Deborah Hunter Harvill. I am a 30-year educator. I was a classroom teacher for general ed classes, also special ed or exceptional student education departments. I work with talented and gifted. I graduated from Marygrove College, got a full ride scholarship, and I used it, got my master's from there. I became a teacher in the district, a principal. I left the district for a while to be a superintendent in Flint and Saginaw. I came back to Detroit and was asked to run for school board by some colleagues. And I said yes. The rest is history. I've been here now. This will end my 6th year. And I'm very interested in being a continuing member, because in my mind, we lost about 2.5 to 3 years. Not every child, but many. And so I fight for all children, particularly the underprivileged. I have a big connection to the exceptional student education population, as I have a special ed background. So I want to finish the work. So student achievement has always been my claim to fame. Even as a principal, I was a turnaround principal, increasing achievement. having kids go on to college and university. So I just want to come back and do that work. I have the time, I have the energy, and would be humbled to work with board members that return, and with various partnerships like 482 Forward.
Thank you so much for that answer, Dr. Harvill. And so our next question for you is kind of thinking about how you have been or how you think you should or want to in the future be engaging with the community. So our question is, how would you engage the community, specifically students and parents, in making decisions with our schools outside of school board meetings, which is like, how would you go above and beyond for our schools outside of what you're doing in those board meetings?
Okay, so I'll give some examples of some of the things that I've done. I've tried to increase awareness for special education and gifted and talented education, which a lot of people don't know really that gifted and talented really exists. So I'm trying to get an awareness of that. I have monthly meetings where we introduce various disabilities that students may have, and try to get the general ed population involved so we can do inclusionary education for all. Right now, I'm planning some forums, but I've done some forums already. The forum that is coming up, oh geez, let's see if I can think of the name of it. It's how parents can move from advocacy to agency. Agency means you own whatever it is that you want to have happen. Advocacy is you've been doing all that work. So now that you've been doing it, what has it resolved in? What are some of the wonderful things that'll happen? So for general ed, it might be college and career readiness. For special ed, it's probably going to be transitioning from high school to either a 2-year community college or eventually to a 4-year or something of that nature. I also host parent meetings, student meetings at various middle schools, and can do it also at the high schools. Just depends on the principal. But I attend honors assemblies, graduations, I'm a commencement speaker. I just do a lot of different things out in the community. And I also do it at the churches for the students, scholarships and things like that.
Thank you so much for that, Dr. Harvill. So the next question is kind of going to be along the lines of weapons in schools. So we know that the school board has a policy in place about the possession of weapons in schools, but there's an exception to weapons under the control of law enforcement personnel and items approved by like the building principal as part of class presentations. But in light of recent issues regarding gun violence within the schools, do you think that the policy should change to not allowing any weapons in or around the schools from anyone?
So I speak first to the principal and see what their community is saying. So that's kind of like a survey to find out if everybody in the district feels the same way. And for the percentage that does not like it, then I want to talk to them. For instance, case in point, as I said, I was a Mary Grove graduate. So I spent, oh, by the way, that's Mary Grove in the back. I meant to say that. And the reason it's there is because had it not been a Mary Grove, when I graduated from Cooley High School, my family was too poor to help me go to college. And so Mary Grove gave me the 4-year tuition and I lived on campus. And so I'm forever indebted, even though it's not a college anymore, it's a school at Mary Grove, K through 12. And I'll talk more about that if we get a chance to. And so what I want to say is that at Mary Grove, if you will remember, there was some gun violence, maybe back, 2 months ago, some children or a young person came in with a gun and we didn't know. Mary Grove's community and family believes that they should not have metal detectors okay, that there's got to be enough police persons present to perhaps, talk with kids when they're coming in or to do searches or whatever. And so they will not get those metal detectors. That's their decision, okay? So I have to respect that. I can say, well, I'm the vice president. I want everybody here to have metal detectors. That won't fly well with the principal or the people that attend that school if they don't agree with it. Gun safety, I'm very frightened about the things that are going on with gun safety, but there's a process that we go through, and then we have to develop policies that speak to that. So I'd have to listen to my board colleagues, the superintendent, and that principal to make that kind of decision. Okay.
Yeah. And I also know that you brought up having police officers inside like the school to talk with the students and things like that. We know that DPSCD just sent out a robocall stating that they will be investing money to bring back police officers on school grounds at the start of the fall semester. So do you kind of agree with this decision? And if not, where would you kind of like the money to be spent instead?
Okay. So that's a question that could possibly get you in trouble. But my gut level is that we need safety in the world that we're living in right now. So it's my job as a board member to look at all of what the research says and to protect every child. So I believe there's funds that come for student achievement, funds that come for extracurricular activities. I believe that we can have a relationship with the Kresge Foundation, with Kellogg, to try to get some additional funds for staffing so that we can have extra teachers on the, on the roster. And I believe that through Title I and 31A, we could maybe determine another way to spend our money as long as it equals increasing reading and math achievement. So I guess the answer to that is that until you present to me a reason why we should not have police to help our children be safe, then I'll take the best way or the best approach. And it is for me that we protect our students. So if that means police officers, I would have to do that. And so I know some young people don't agree with that, but I've been in this business for a long time. The one thing that I don't want to have happen is someone come down the street and just start shooting and we don't have protection. So I hope that doesn't upset anybody, but I'm just telling you, I'm on the real. Until I get something better, my job is to protect you. Okay?
Thank you so much for that.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you. The question that I have is, well, firstly, to set the tone for the question, right now the ratio of counselors to students in the district is 1 per 500 students in elementary and 1 per 400 students in high school. For social workers, that gap is even wider. And so the state's 2023 budget includes $150 million for mental health within schools. Do you believe that is an appropriate amount? What do you want to see done with those funds specifically in our school district?
Thank you for the question. I believe we could always get more funds, but I'm grateful for that we're getting. Okay, that's number one. Number two is there's also a grant that we received for mental health facilitation that we're going to be utilizing as well. So that's 2 instances. And then number 3, the IDA will give funds for special education to have mental health assistance. So that's 3 avenues. And I don't even know what we have off the cuff for general ed funding, but that's 3 different things. So I'm going to utilize it as best I can. I think that what the governor has done is humongous, and it's going to help us immensely in being able to get additional mental health services. That's key to not only the special ed population, but the general ed population, the homeless, which is a great percentage of students in our district, that every night go home to somewhere that's not home, okay? That every morning wake up to breakfast when they're not sure if they're going to get it the next day, okay? So I don't want to forget the homeless population. So they're number one on my list for being funded, and then the special ed and general ed population. I don't think you really asked me, do I agree with it, but you asked me what would I do with it. So those are just a few other things that I would do. I've seen enough of this nonsense where everybody has mental health issues. And don't forget the teachers, okay? Don't forget those that are having emotional trauma and need to get past it, okay? So we all could use a little bit of it, but definitely our students who are being readied to be our future. So that's my answer.
Thank you so
And
much.
thank you for the question. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Thank you so much for your response.
Mhm.
Another question that I have is, in what ways do you think DPSCD should make school curriculum more diverse and representative of the student body?
Well, we have a division of diversity and equity that's fairly new. And I don't know how many students are really aware of it, okay? So I probably would give that to the ninth graders coming in as an elective. And I probably would send it up and make it optional for older grades, but equity is very important, and it means more than just Asian Americans, African Americans, Caucasian Americans. Equity means funding for low achieving persons. It means giving what should have been given all the time to them, okay? And so how would I plan to make it more diverse and have extracurricular impacted? So I probably have a curriculum forum to start off with and invite students from various grades, representation from 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th to see what's important to them. Then I'd probably have one for the teachers to see what's important for them, blend them, and come up with a draft plan, much like our, we have core values. Have you ever seen those for DPS? We have our core values, and we also have our goals for the district, okay? And we're talking about the whole child and much, much more. And so diversity has to be taught. And I hope that it won't be forgotten. So, you know, we just get feedback from everybody and keep it moving to come up with something. I'll end there. How much time do I have? Because I could go more in depth, but I don't want to be too long-winded.
We normally have been giving people like 3 minutes per question. I don't think you've been talking for 3 minutes if you want to go like another minute or so.
Okay. All right. As it comes out, I'll share.
Okay. So I do know that earlier you said you like to talk to the students about uniform policies and that you had met with Hafiza and a few other students to talk about it. So what is your stance on the current uniform policy in DPSCD alongside like the strict dress code? Like what's your stance on it?
Yeah, so I'm really flexible with the uniform policy, but I can understand if high school students think that we should take a, you know, a deep dive into maybe altering the uniform policy. Do I feel that way for the younger children? Probably not really, but I can be convinced. So you got to understand my background. My background is a middle school principal. I was also an elementary principal. And so when I served as principal, Middle school students may have had on yellow. If they were in 6th grade, 7th grade may have had on white, and 8th grade may have had on blue. So it wasn't about the prison mentality. It was about me knowing that a 7th grade student was in the 6th grade hallway wing. And my question would be, what are you doing there? Okay. And that you need to go back to your section unless you have a special pass to learn with this section on this given day. I wasn't trying to put anybody in prison. It was just a sense of order. Okay. But what I heard is that high school students maybe think it puts kids on the prison route or makes them think that they're there. I'm sorry to hear that. I never made mine feel that way. In fact, you would get treats and everything if you had on your uniform. But when it gets to be too much, it's probably in high school. Okay. And so I'm flexible and I'm willing to listen to your rationale for why we should change it for middle school. It was funny. I went to Bates Immaculata on Monday, and most of the kids had on their uniforms. Some didn't have it on. And the parents were like, oh, I didn't know they had an option. They don't have to wear the uniform. So parents don't seem to want them to do it. So see, life changes depending on what era we're in, okay? And so this is 2022. And so if we don't want uniforms, then we need to review why we don't want them, what are the pros, what are the cons, and so on and so forth. So I'm really flexible, but it worked for me back then. It kept my building orderly, and that's why I worked it that way. But I'm open, and I'm sure we'll be talking to high school students a lot about changing the uniform policy. So we're gonna have to look at it. My president and I looked at it from a perspective of president and vice president, but it's not our call. It belongs to the other 5 members as well. And so you'd have 7, but you wouldn't get me saying, don't do it, don't do it. I'm not like that. I want to hear the facts and then make a decision that'll be good, safe, healthy, etc. for our kids. I'm open.
Thank you for being open. We always appreciate that. And I'm sure we'll be in touch soon.
Yeah, I know.
The next question that I have is DPSCD just voted to acknowledge Pride Month in the school calendar. How will you stress the importance of advancing LGBTQ equity in classrooms?
Well, I have to go back to when I was a middle school principal at McMichael Middle. That's over on Linwood in Detroit. And we had a leading girls basketball team. And so I accepted Pride Month and everything way back then because kids will be who they are, okay? And there's nothing I can do to change it. So that's one thing, is that when I knew that was going on with some girls or some guys, we would have a talk and we would learn how to get through the school year. As it is that we now have Pride Month, let's accept it and let's see what we could do. It's almost like a special ed student. I want special ed and general ed 8th grade students to be together, because I want those general ed 8th grade students to know that special ed students have needs, and I don't want them giggled at. I want you to befriend them and give them some ideas on how to be successful. So that's inclusionary kinds of strategies. And so I would do the same thing here. Since we have we adopted it, what was it, last month or month before last? We've got time to talk about it as a board as to the kinds of fun activities or authentic activities that we can have to make sure that students feel comfortable. Okay. And no, that could be forums, that could be assemblies. You know, students they're more accepting than adults. You know, and you just have to make it more of an awareness and let that be. I think we're doing a fine job with that. That's my thinking. I think you start from the high schools and you go down to the middle or middle and high. I'm not sure that the elementary students would understand yet, but they might. If they do, I'm willing. So assemblies.
Thank you so much for your response.
Mhm.
The next question I have is, how would you increase language accessibility and translation services within DPSCD schools and in communication with families?
Well, the persons that are giving the service need to be present for more than just high school graduation. I think they should be present for middle school meetings and middle school assemblies. And even if necessary in the elementary schools. So it's just a process of calling the agencies and getting them scheduled to come in. Even building principals can do that and have the translators in the lunchrooms with the the lunchroom assistants that are there and other professionals that are around. But the more you begin to see them, the better it is. Now, as it relates to funding, I know that some are paid for, some are just free services. But when you get to having to pay, then you pay that through special services. I think when parents are doing IEPs, which is the individualized educational plan for students, I think there should be a translator sitting there. I also believe that if there are meetings where persons involved have some language issues, that there needs to be a translator there to make them better understand. That could almost start with kindergarten parents. Sometimes they just don't understand what's being said. And so definitely with the extra curricular activities as well. Yeah, we got to do better or more with that. And I just think it's a matter of, because of the pandemic, stuff may have slowed down, but we can certainly make it happen. And thank you for mentioning that, because tentatively on September 27th, we're going to have a forum where we're going to need some translators. And we're also going to have a mental health speaker and a holistic speaker who will talk to parents about what their child is eating for breakfast and how it impacts them when they go to school. So if they get to school, we know they're going to eat good breakfast, but we shouldn't start off with those hot fries. That's been in the system for a long time. But anyway.
Thank you. I am going to give some space for Angela to just, Angela, you can give your name, your pronouns, how you're connected to DPSCD, and how you're connected to 482 Forward.
Hi, my name is Angela. My pronouns are she, her. I am currently a senior in CAS Tech.
So
sorry,
Angela's going in and out.
Oh, am I?
Just tell me, start back one more time.
Look
like
okay. Maybe it's my Wi-Fi.
You're good on my end. I'm not sure.
Am I? I don't know. I can see you guys clear. I don't know. But I'm a senior in CAS Tech, and I'm part of my students' dream and also the youth advisory board with COC. Wait, I think it is my internet.
It really went in and out. Angela, did you say you were a part of my student dreams?
My students' dream, yes.
Okay, I heard that part, but I couldn't hear the other. If one of you would just repeat it, because it's going to be very important that I know where she's from so I can get my response intact.
Yeah, so her name's Angela. Her pronouns are she, her, hers. She currently attends Cass Technical High School, and she's connected to us through MI Student Dreams.
Okay. What grade are you in at Cass?
I'm a senior.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Go ahead. I'm going to try to hear you as best I can.
Wait, to repeat my intro? Oh, wait.
Hey, Brianna, I think they're frozen. Are you frozen?
No,
I can't hear you.
you can't hear me?
Who is that? I could hear that person. Who was that?
Brianna, can you hear me?
I think she froze.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Okay, wait, you're muted, doctor.
Muted.
I'm back in. Did it go out in total?
You froze when you were talking to Brianna.
Okay. All right, Angela, let's try it again. I'm sorry.
Okay, so it's not on my end, right? Okay, I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to move. Okay, so if you members of 482 Forward are a part of an organization called My Student's Dream, which organizes at the intersection of immigration and education justice, would you commit to filling out a survey created by our youth members, and we would send it to you within the week?
Would I commit to
Filling
say
out
it
a
again?
survey. Filling out a survey created by our youth.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, no problem. No problem at all. I would commit to that.
Okay. So this last question has to do with building facilities. So we know during the final weeks of classes, a lot of Detroit schools had to end their days early due to hot weather and having no AC. So this is one of the many issues that students face due to the condition that many of the schools are physically in. So how do you think that this issue can be addressed by the DPSCD board?
Right. So we did vote yes to improve building facilities, especially those that have overcrowding. One is Western International, and I say that because I know it's over in Southwest. Another is Cody High School. Cody will get a new building. Western will get a whole new building space attached to the school. From Cody, I think we go to it's another school, another high school. Oh, Pershing High School will have a new part to it, and Henry Ford will get major enhancements. So that's it for the high schools, but it could be more than that. But I'm just saying, there's some improvements that'll happen at Northwestern. So we've already committed to that. Instead of taking the monies and sending it back to the federal government that we got for purchasing PP&E materials, you know, like the sanitizer, having someone to monitor giving shots and all of that kind of thing. We're taking those funds and rebuilding schools. And I'm proud of that. From elementary to middle to high school. Of course, we couldn't get them all, but the ones that have specific issues, we have an assistant superintendent, Mashawn Jackson. If you ever want to sit and talk to her, Mashawn has a blueprint or a plan for the kinds of things that we're going to be doing with all of the schools in the Detroit Public Schools Community School District. So if there are some specific schools that you have some specific concerns about, you can send them to the board, but you can also send them to Mashawn.Jackson@DetroitK12.org. I support her, and when she and Dr. Beatty make presentations about doing things to get better water, to get air conditioners, to get better systems, then I support all of that. We're an old school district, so we got old things happening there, but we've got to we got to spend some money quickly on getting some things together so that we won't be super, super hot
Yeah.
next year and the rest of the year, I guess.
Thank you. I do see that we had a hand up. I don't know if you still have like a question or a comment that you wanted to ask.
Yeah, I did want to ask, Dr. Deborah, do you know if there are any plans to implement air conditioning into like, I know you mentioned high schools, but what about like the elementary and middle schools? Because
Oh,
I went,
definitely.
okay, because I went to Davison Elementary Middle School, all 8 years. We did not have air conditioning, and parents had to walk out during the promotion ceremony because it was hot and there were no windows. There was like one fan. Everyone was sweating. And so I wanted to ask, because I know it's been a struggle for so many students, because they don't have air conditioning, especially the hot weather, on top of fasting during Ramadan for the Muslim students. I know it's been a struggle for us to be fasting and going through school in the hot weather while also not having air conditioning.
Yeah, I want to say thank you for that question. I have nothing but respect for the Davison school community, and I heard that they didn't get a chance to talk about what it was that they needed or whatever the issue was. But I want you to know that you're high on the priority list, and there will be some elementary schools and some middle schools. I heard that there would be some funding to do some improvements at Davison. Now, I've been in your building. I was there last year, and I know some of the teachers. I was there the year before last. And so it's number one on my list to make sure that you get some improvements. And I know you don't go there now, but you probably have siblings that might go there or family members. And kudos to all of you for what you do there. Your achievement is among the highest in the whole district, because I study numbers, and you do it all with the heat. And so I appreciate it. But you're number one on my list. I'll be asking Dr. Beatty more about what we can do to make it a better school. And not only Davison, I mean, we're pouring into a lot of schools, but Davison is what I'm talking about, because you attended there and went on to Cass. And if I know you, you've been very bright the whole time, because that's just what you all do. And I thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much for all your answers today. We really appreciate you meeting with us. Our last question is, if you're elected, would you commit to meeting with our youth within 6 months of your election?
Yes, yes. You asked me that question last time. Did we meet? We better keep meeting so I can know what young people want. That's part of why I'm going to be there. Okay. You are our future. So yes, I will. Even before 6 months. Okay.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We look forward to working with you in the future. Was there anything
Absolutely.
else that you would like to mention that we didn't touch base on, or anything you want to share?
I believe in cohesiveness and collaboration. I have really good listening skills. So let's do more to make certain that I understand what it is you need. And I can get to you. So let me know what I can do to be of help. And I'm so proud of all of you that have, I can't believe it. You've gone on, you graduated from high school, then you've gone to college, and here you are back here, because one of the things I said at the graduation was, don't forget to come back and pay it forward in this district. And so I'm very proud of you that you've done that. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, we really appreciate having you with us, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
I will. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.